This is the most systematic test that's been done so far.
7 slashes, 2 different tires.
We have a 25-mile test loop. We want to see if this thing is going to work under the worst case scenario.
Okay guys, I'm going to send it.
My name is David Soza. I've been overlanding and actually working in the overland and off-road space for about 48 years now. A lot of things come across my desk, and one of the things that came across my desk from a friend is this product called GlueTread. I looked into it a little more. It looked really interesting. It's a product that says that it can temporarily repair sidewall rips and tears in tires. And this is a huge deal because it's one of the great liabilities of any off-road vehicle are sidewall tears. And there really is no good solution right now. So I've seen lots of anecdotal reports that this product actually works well. I've seen some videos on YouTube, but nobody so far has done a really systematic test of the product to see if it will work over a wide range of conditions. We have a systematic test that we put together that's going to test a number of different types of cuts, positions on the tire, and different conditions that the tire is exposed to. So we really want to put this product to the test. We really want to see if this is a viable thing to carry, and we want to find out if there are any weaknesses as well. We've put 7 cuts to start with, and we're going to do more before the test is done. We're going to be mounting those on the rear of my vehicle, and then we're going to be taking them on a 25-mile test loop. My Tacoma is 6,800 pounds, so it's going to put a lot of load on the tires, and it's going to really challenge them. What we're testing is the placement of the cut, and also the orientation of the cut. So some of the cuts are axial, some of the cuts are radial, which means they're with the plies of the tire. Some of the cuts are across the plies of the tire. We're also going to try some different sizes of cuts. So we're going to start with smaller cuts between 1.5 and 2.5 inches long, but we're going to go up to 4 inches before this is done. We want this to be a comprehensive test essentially, so that people can have confidence that this will work if that's what we find. So we have Andy here from GlueTread. He's one of the owners of GlueTread, and we invited him out because we wanted to make sure that we are, in fact, applying this product according to the best practices. So we're very close to being able to roll now. We're just checking the tires now for pressure to make sure we don't have any leaks before we start, and then we're going to get them mounted on the truck and hit the trail. So that was a 6-mile run on a county road. Of course, we did this under controlled conditions. We had chase vehicles front and rear to make sure that we weren't endangering anybody else on the road. So we lost 8 PSI over the last stretch. So we are losing air, but we hit speeds of 50 miles an hour on the straightaways. I was driving as fast as I could drive in this thing, and it did fine. So we're gonna air it up. We got a trail ahead. We're gonna keep going. So we're having to stop every so often here and put a few pounds of air back in the tire. We do have some slow leaks. And you can see that we have several places on the sidewall where the sidewall itself is significantly compromised just because those cuts were across the cords essentially. So when we made the cut, we really did weaken the sidewall. These tires are not a heavy-duty off-road tire. These tires are probably a P-rated tire. We have 7 patches on here, not 1. So it's just an accumulated leakage of all of these. But what we're really looking for here is to see if we have any catastrophic failures, and surprisingly not, and we're really working these tires hard. Several miles into the test, it appeared that this tire was holding up pretty well. We had some minor leaks on it, but none of the patches were actually tearing off. So based on that, we decided to take another tire of a different construction, a relatively heavyweight tire. So that one there, I would say the maximum cut on that is about 2.5 inches. And this tire we did some more extensive damage on. We went up to 4.5 inches on the cuts, and we deliberately made them across the cords. So we deliberately tried to test the weakest link. So now we have something representative of both of these tires. So that's where it's failed, right in there.
And it was really bulging out. And then the whole tire went down very quickly.
And that was 20 psi at 4.5
Correct.
inches.
Yep. The other ones are holding. That one there is 3.5.
Yeah. And at the
that
same
one there is the same thing that was not doing so well, although those are still hanging in there.
Yeah.
They're all hanging in there. This is the only one.
As long as you don't glue the screwdriver to it. I'm gonna hold it for a minute here. Oh, you know what though? It's not even touching the patch in here, because you can feel it if you want, but it's like,
yeah, I can see it.
There's no back pressure on it, so I'm pushing it into nothing.
We don't have that far.
That's not promising. This is where it's gonna go right there. So obviously the tire is really flat, and we're getting a lot of air leaking this way out of this 4.5 inch gash. So what I'm gonna do is take this, butt it up to there, adhere that, and then adhere the seam here, and then hopefully that'll get us back to camp. We're not too far. So
I can't believe this tire back here hasn't given up. That thing has really been through hell today. But it's held strong. It's looking good. I mean, I think we're going to make it home as long as that holds, as long as that patch holds. But I don't know. I just feel like a real sense of accomplishment just for the fact that we're getting home. You know, we're getting back. Yeah.
Yeah, how do you feel after the whole day?
I feel tired, obviously, but you know, considering everything that we've been through and considering the damage to these two tires, the fact that we covered, close to 25 miles of really rough terrain, and we're going to be back to camp in just a couple of minutes. That's pretty satisfying. It's one revolution at a time. We'll see what happens, right? Let's get home.
Would you say that we hit the limit?
I think we did. We set out to find out what the limits of this system are. And we definitely did that. We definitely did that.
yeah, that's why we're here.
Yeah.
For sure.
And it's not a failure. The product's not a failure, and our experiment's not a failure.
Definitely.
Everything is just what we planned. Just not exactly the way we planned. Yeah. All right, well, let's get shut off and we'll get some dinner.
Make some food.
Yeah. So we're just wrapping up a 3-day evaluation of the GlueTread product. And this is the most systematic and extensive test of the product that's been done so far. As you can see from these tires, we have definitely pushed this product beyond its limit. These tires have been extensively damaged. The one on the right-hand side here has 7 punctures on it. And we very systematically did that. So some of those punctures are axial, which means they're cut in this direction. Some of them are radial, which means they're cut in this direction. The holes that we have in this are anywhere from 1.5 to 2.5 inches long. We actually learned some really interesting things in the process of doing that. It turns out that the axial cuts are much more difficult to maintain the patch because it cuts through the cords of the tire and actually damages the structure of the tire. So now the tire itself is compromised. So we're not just trying to patch a hole, we're actually trying to restore some of the structure to the tire. This tire here went the entire 25-mile test course and made it back to camp. Now, some of the patches were leaking a little bit, but they all made it. And you can see from the scuff marks on this tire that we've hit a lot of stuff along the way too. It was a very difficult track that we went along. We also tested it up to higher speeds. And of course we did this in a controlled environment, but we got the truck up to 50 miles an hour over some pretty rough roads, and then slowed it down and did some crawling through some more technical areas too. Then this tire here is a load range E tire. And we did some really extensive damage to this. We put cuts in this up to 4.5 inches long. This cut right here was 4.5 inches long, and it was put at about a 30-degree angle. So we cut through a lot of cord material on this. It was very heavily damaged. And then we did some other ones down here. We did about a 2.5-inch axial cut on the bottom, and about a 3.5-inch cut at a 45-degree angle here. And then we really hammered these tires. After we did this and put it on, we hammered them. And you can see we eventually destroyed this tire. This tire was on the front of the vehicle, so it was taking some really hard hits. We were very close to camp when the tire finally gave out, and we just made the decision to drive it on in. But I'm thoroughly impressed with the performance of this product. I wouldn't say that it's bulletproof. It does have its limitations. There are damages you can put into the tire that the product is not going to perfectly repair. But on the other hand, if you were to repair these tires and be very careful driving them, you could probably do long distances. We deliberately tried to do as much damage to these tires in the 25-mile test loop as we could. We've learned a lot. The manufacturer, I really want to thank Andy Abel for being here with me to provide the technical assistance to get through this. This is a product that I could definitely recommend. It's a product that I'm definitely going to carry, because while it's not perfect, it's a far better situation than not having it.